Well, hi everybody. I guess I'll start right now. I'm looking for people that are coming on now, and it's very exciting to be doing this webinar for you. I don't think you really want to see. Great to be here with you. Great to look forward to a season of bringing coaches and trainers to Los Angeles to learn the Llama technique, the positive coach approach, and to participate with us in taking Llama, which is a communication skill, all over the world. We are really looking forward to doing that. And we are drawing to us the highest and the best, so I hope you are one of them. Today I'm going to talk about opening the door or, starting the idea of building a business plan. So let's begin, and I'm going to take myself off the screen as you don't need to see me. Building your coaching business plan. I mean, we have a huge successful training and coaching business, and we really do want to share it with absolutely everybody in the world. And that is our goal, and that is what we want to do, and that is what we want you to have if that's something that you want. So let's talk about how do you start. Purpose is the most important thing that you ever do in life, is to have purpose. Now, I call it consciousness, subconsciousness, high consciousness, something like that. But the idea is that when you start something, you have to figure out what is going to work and why you would do it. Who, what, where, when, why, that kind of thing. So with regard to the purpose in your life, with regard to purpose in your business, you have to ask yourself, what is yours? Now, if you're going to really win at the game of owning your own business, being an entrepreneur, or taking coaching and training to your location, the first thing you absolutely have to do in order to do it well and do it right is to clear your mind of all the limitations. Purpose is ongoing and never ends. It's like saying I'm going to teach people to communicate. Well, I'm never going to run out of people, am I? And or maybe I'm going to teach people how to love each other. Well, you're never going to run out of love. Love doesn't run out. And so you have to clear your mind, because fears do come up. They come up in your mind. They come up in front of you. People will tell you about them. Sometimes you have to just sit down and tell the truth, that you believe in certain things that keep you from being who you really want to be. When I started out, we started out with a great deal of concern about what was next. What was I going to do? How was I going to do it? So here's how I started. I started with a lot of research. Actually, you can do all of this work, or you can come with us, one or the other. But this is not really a picture of my books. I have millions of books too. They look just like this, almost. Mine are actually on a shelf or in shelves. But the idea is that before you do anything big, you almost always have to do the research that goes with it. I did a lot of research. And then I wrote the first book that I ever wrote, which was called The Sales Survival Guide. I self-published that book. The one that you see on your screen now is the second edition. The first edition had a different picture. The idea there was I thought that I had something to say about selling and what people could do with regard to making their sales better. So I wrote a book about how to be in sales, not how to sell things, although there are some ideas about that. But the idea is when you go into a life of sales, it's a life of no. You get told no a lot more than you get told yes. So therefore, you might have a little upset here and there with how many times someone says no to you. And what I want you to understand is that once you do the research, once you do the background, once you do the preparation, you begin to feel more confident with yourself. I always say in our training that you need two things to make it in life. And one of them is to build your own self-esteem. And that is because no one else is coming to build it for you. People will not drag you along with them, at least not for your sake. They may do it for their own, but they won't do it for yours. And people all want to have a good life. All people want to have happiness. All people want to have success. And of course, I define success as joy and peace of mind, not how much money you have in your pocket. And so when you begin a plan, when you begin to see what are you going to do, how are you going to do it, you always start with reading or doing your research or writing out a plan so that you can follow the plan at the beginning. Now, you will always be changing your plan. Now, I'm hoping that you will change your plan and that you will decide, why should I spend 2, 3, 4, 5 years building my business when, in fact, I could use the McKee method, or Judy McKee and Sally Cordova's method, which is what we call the Llama Academy, where you could have all the training manuals, the workbooks, the slides, the backup. You can use our IP, meaning you can use Llama with our permission. You can come with us and learn how to use the positive coach approach as well. And what would happen is you would be able to eliminate years of study, years of work, and come with us and take our training and use it as your own and use it all around the world. You can use it in your coaching. You can use it in executive coaching, life coaching, spiritual coaching, business coaching, stress coaching. I don't care what kind of coaching you're doing, but if you're coaching others, this program would work for you. And like I said, you could save yourself 2 to 5 years of backup that you might have to do without having a plan, without eliminating the doubts, and also to create or develop programs for the people that you work for and you work with. So everything starts by writing things down. Now, I call it working from the overflow. And sometime today in your email, you are going to receive a handout. That handout is going to be where you start. It's going to ask you some questions, and you're going to write them down. Now, this is not for me. You don't have to turn it in. This is for you to begin to see what you need to think about in order to start your business plan. You know, when I started, like I said, I used to work from the overflow. When I brought Sally in, she was amazed that I would bring out 10 books in order to start the process that I wanted to do, in order to have a new program or a lunch and learn or a 1-hour webinar or a 90-minute session customized to my clients. I did all that by working from the overflow. I had too many things to say. And when you have too much to say, it's a good thing, but you need to write it down in a way that makes sense to the people that you are selling it to, that it makes sense to the people that you are coaching, that it makes sense to the people that you are training. And that has been my goal all my life. And I can tell you right now that if you were to participate with us in our coaching plan, you would find that you had the most exciting, the most advanced career, the most fun you could ever have. You would be inspired every day. Today, I couldn't wait to wake up and get this webinar going. And I say, well, wait a minute. Why am I so excited? I've been doing this for 40 years. Well, it's because there's nothing more gratifying than to teach others to do something that allows the others to increase their well-being, their peace of mind, their joy, their success, their life, their institution, their methodology, their way of being, their peace of mind. That's what everybody wants, but sometimes they don't quite know how to get it. Now, we've proven our method. We know that it works, and it works every single time. And the reason it works is because it cannot fail. It is based on principle that people want to succeed. People want to do a good job. People want to live a life of satisfaction, that people want peace of mind. And sometimes, and almost always, we can bring a training course to them that will open their eyes to how wonderful they really are. But you always have to take a project, take a thing that you want to do, like making up a business plan, and you have to start at the beginning and you have to keep on going until you are finished, and then you stop. So it starts by making a few lists, and I'm going to send that to you in the handout today. that you start a new story. Then you see if you can believe in your story and that you can make it your own. You know, one of the things that happens whenever people decide to do something new, to have a new business or a new career, or to take their business and scale it up. We were lucky enough to meet Dr. Frumi Rachel Barr, who gave us all these fantastic ideas on how to scale up our business, because we can continue to work, and we do. We work all the time. We're very, very successful. But sometimes you want something new, something exciting. So instead of going to all of the companies that we go to now, or go around the world to train their coaches and trainers, we say, why don't you send us your trainer? Why don't you send us your coach? Why don't the entrepreneur coaches of the world come to us, and we will show you how to make a plan, how to get business, how to call people, speak to people, participate with people, how to be a speaker in the way that we suggest so that you can get more business, how not to do things by one at a time. I call them onesie twosies. No, we want to do things by group effort. And of course, that's what the media is allowing you to do these days. The social media is allowing you to write things to 1 million people at one time. The problem is that when you want to really coach someone, it has to be personal. So therefore, you have to know how to enroll that person on a personal basis, how to talk to that person, how to open the door to a conversation, how to continue a conversation. If you have a coachee, how to bring them into your office, or maybe you're doing it virtually, but how to communicate with them in a way that never makes them feel wrong or stupid. That would be the goal, because you will keep them coming back until they reach their goal, at which time maybe you won't be needed anymore. I always think of myself as doing such a good job, I get myself out of a job. In other words, whatever they're doing, if they do it really well, they don't need me anymore, and that's exactly right. That's exactly right. So I want you to consider today that you're going to write down a plan and set up your purpose. Our purpose is to teach communication all over the world in a way that people can do a better job and be successful at it. And by successful, I mean have the joy of their job, as well as the peace of mind about knowing that they are doing the thing that gives them the most fulfillment. So you have to ask yourself some good questions. What will your client be, do, or have after you coach them? What will your client be? What will they be like? What will they do? And what will they have after you fulfill the job of coaching them or training them? And then ask yourself, what will you be? Or in this case, I would say to myself, what would I be? What would I be? What would I need to do? And what would I have if I had my life fulfilled by my coaching and training business? That's really the end result. And people that you listen to will tell you, is there any competition? Are you competing with other people? Now, I'll tell you my secret to life and competition is I don't compete. I always think I have such sincere, real authenticity in my training that there is no competition. And there are millions of people. There are millions of call center agents that I could train. There are thousands and thousands of supervisors and coach people, coaches. There are thousands of coaches who could do exactly what I teach them and what they want to add to it. So there's no competition. I'm not going to run out of people. If I ever did, I'd just go somewhere where there are more people. There are people everywhere. So let's not even think about competition. I mean, maybe you might want to think about it. You might want to look at it and say, what am I competing against? But I don't like that because it means that you're fighting something. You're blocking something. I don't want you to do that ever again in your life. There really is no competition for sincerity, for truth, for living without fear, for being able to feel confident. There's no competition there. You know, years ago, I used to sing in cocktail bars when I was young. And it was really funny. I every time I auditioned, I got the job. And I hadn't thought about that until about now when I was starting to build our new program. And in doing so, I thought, you know, it's really true. I always got the audition. I never failed at getting the audition. Now, that doesn't mean I would go on every audition. But if I went on an audition for a singing job, I always got praise for what I did. And one time I remember I auditioned for the new Christie, how do you say that? I can't say it anymore. The new Christie Minstrels. And I did not get the job, but it wasn't because I failed to compete. It was because they said I was too old, and I think I was 25. They were looking for people 17 and 18 years old. So competition is almost always in your mind. So once you can drop the thought of competition, you can begin to do your work knowing, in fact, that you will win. Knowing, in fact, that people will want to come to your coaching possibility, that people will want to take your training because they want to succeed and your heart is pure. Now, if you're concerned about competition, if you're concerned about other people, when you write out your plan, you need to write that down, that I'm concerned about the competition, because you have to ask yourself this next question. Can I change my mind? Can I change my own mind? I think you can. You never should pay attention to what other people say. Always go with your intuition, what's in your heart. Everybody, when I first started, they said, how can you start a business? Today they say, how did you ever start that business? I just started. And then I kept going until I was finished. And I'm never finished, actually, with the business. But I made a plan. I made some rules. Every day I follow a few simple rules because I don't like complicated rules. But remember, what people say is often what somebody told them. You have to think for yourself. If you come with us and you come to our training, I promise you, you will learn to think for yourself. It will be cognitive. You will be able to decide for yourself what works and what doesn't work. And you need to have a list of what works and what doesn't work. It's very, very, very important. Other people don't know, but we do know. And we will share with you what we know. This can save you about 2 years. That's like the minimum. 2 years. Why take 2 years to get your business rolling? And don't believe these people who tell you you can have a business overnight. No, you cannot have a business overnight. It takes time. It takes money. It takes energy. And if you start from scratch, it's going to be a couple of years. Not that you're not worth it, and I put the time in, but now I can save you some of that time. But you will have to do your homework because you have to know what time, money, and energy you're willing to invest. Now, in my case, I was lucky. My husband paid the rent in case I failed, which I never did. But I knew I was willing to devote time to the business, and I knew how much time. I was willing to put some money, invest in myself, which I did. And of course, the energy, I never run out of energy and you won't either. You know why? Because doing this is so fulfilling. It gives you energy. You will attract to you the finest and the best. Everybody who wants what you have will be attracted to you as long as you are open to it. So I will send you the workbook. I will send you, it's actually not a workbook, it's a handout, a couple of pages. And it's the way to start building your own business plan. And I will tell you, when I said it takes time, money, and energy, I'm not kidding. It does take money. And so you have to ask yourself, what am I willing to invest? Now, some people can start a business without spending very much money. That's possibly true. I mean, when I started my business, printing cost me money. But what happened is I had to take 8 months off of work. I couldn't do another job. My husband called it letting go of the side of the pool. In other words, I had to let go of holding on and really take the time, the money, and the energy to build up my first training manual. It took me 8 months to write my first training, which were the slides and the workbook and a little manual for myself. And it was a 5-week program, all about time, all about money, all about telephones, all about negotiating. And the last session was called Putting It All Together. Now, it took me a long, long time to do that, every day working on it. You don't have to do that. We have a training manual for you. So you have to say, well, how much do I have? And how much time am I willing to devote to it? I'll tell you, whatever you do, whether or not you come with us, it doesn't matter to us. We are going to draw to us 8 trainers every quarter, 8 coaches every quarter, and we are going to show them how to build a business, because that business is needed all over the world. The coaches are needed. They are needed because the people out there want support. And it used to be when you went in a big corporation, you got a lot of support from the corporation. But today, most huge businesses don't support the people as much as they used to. And so you have to learn how to support yourself. So individuals have to learn how to support themselves with communication skills and build their own self-esteem. How do they do that? Usually today they do it by finding themselves a business coach. So you want to save yourself the struggle and the mistakes and the errors and omissions. And you have to ask yourself, what would that be worth? Like I said, in my case, it took me 8 months to write my first manual. And the slides and the handout. Now, of course, I've written many books since then. I also wrote my first book at that time. And like I said, I sold it out of the side of my car, out of the trunk of my car. Whenever I would speak somewhere or talk to a group of people, I sold it for $10 out of my trunk. It was like a $10 business card. So what you want to do is remember this. You haven't got time for the pain. Why? Why should you? Think of yourself as worth it. Think of yourself as deserving. I love Jacob Glassett. He's got an expression. I think he even has a new book entitled You Don't Get What You Deserve in Life, You Get What You Think You Deserve. And that is why you want to come with us, because we think you deserve the best. And we already know that this is 40 years in the making. You won't be making a mistake. But you need to write out your own personal plan. And of course, it always starts with purpose. Why are you doing what you do? What are you going to get out of it? What are you going to give? Remember this, it's not the money. It is never the money. Money can be gotten and spent, and it starts and it stops, but purpose never ends. Write down your expected results. If you were to work for a year, what do you expect at the end of the year? Because whatever it is that you expect is exactly what you're going to get. So it's very important that you believe in what you're doing. You need to write down what your client will love about your coaching or your training. What could possibly stop you? Now that is a key. I think that's the key to living today. We are drowning with information. And yet, we're not smarter. We're not more capable. We can't do things faster. Why is that? Because we still have thoughts about limitations. We still have thoughts about what could possibly stop us. And one of the things that we want you to do is to learn how to give that up. You have to find out what you believe in, and then you have to give up the negative things that you possibly believe in. They don't work anyway, so why hang on to them? You have to ask yourself, would you be willing to operate from intention instead of fear? The urgency, the rush, there is none. It's only what you make up in your own mind. So you need to be trained by people who believe in that. Write down what you would do if you had no fear. Write down what would you do, what would you have, and what would you live like if you had no fear? What would your business look like? Download this handout and do your homework. Now, one of the things people do is they avoid doing homework. The only thing that has made me successful is doing my homework. I'm not educated like some of you are. And yet, here I am. How many clients would it take for you to have the income that you want? That's very important. How much would you charge them? How much can you say without anything going on in your body? No vibrations. What do you think you deserve? That's so important. I will show you my plan and then you can share yours with me. I really mean that. I'm going to teach you everything in my plan. We have a huge, successful training and coaching business, and we will share it all with you. You are welcome to come. You give us a call. You can call that number that's on your screen, 818-945-5141, or you can email me. The best thing in the world would be to pick up the phone and call me. The 13th will be a cocktail party where we will meet everybody, and it's going to be wonderful fun and set some goals. And then we will start on the 14th, the 15th, the 16th will be full days. And then on Friday, it'll be all about 1 o'clock because I think there will be people flying in and they will want to get out of there by 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock that day to catch their plane back home. And that's what it's all about. And we want you to come with us. Please come with us. Call us. We are only going to do 8 at a time. It's going to be very intense, but very wonderful. You will be learning how to be a business coach, not actually how to be a coach. We're supposing you already know how to coach. What we are going to teach you is how to run your business, as we have done successfully all these years. Thank you, and I hope you have a wonderful day. This is Judy McKee. You've got the phone number, 818-945-5141. Thank you. Bye-bye.